Good morning, Magic players. Today we have a crazy clash of clever conjurers. Gage Meningitis has brought his Zurgo juggernaut to battle, keeping a Swampy, a Mountain, Mardu Banner, Fire Shrieker, Oath of Lieges, Eldrazi Conscription, and a Gift of Orzova. You can see where this is going. Kudzwi has summoned their Legion of Dragons, helmed by their shapeshifter ally Morophon, the Boundless. They kept a Hand of Plains, a Mountain, Haven of the Spirit Dragon, Command Tower, Dragon Broodmother, Fran Dynamo, and Distant Melody. Horatio Twirlstash has called for the favor of the baddest dude in the multiverse, Xenagos, God of Revels. The Doombringer himself has kept 2 mountains, a forest, Kessig Wolfrun, Scour from Existence, New Frontiers, and Hellkite Charger. Gary Rapol calls upon Nature's Wrath, bringing Multani, Mara Sorcerer. He keeps 3 forests, Beast Whisperer, Wear Away, Force of Vigor, and Doubling Cube. Mr. Twirlstash brings weighted dice to the battle and starts us off. The Doombringer twirls his mustache evilly and plays a Kessig Wolfrun for turn, passing. Kudzwi drops a command tower. They pass. Gage slowly plays a Swampy, as if unsure what to do, and passes the turn. Gary follows up with the lack of turn 1 plays by playing a forest, shipping the turn to Horatio. Horatio flexes on the rest of the wizards by playing a shiny Taiga, totally not stolen from Gage earlier. With nothing to do yet, he plots a dastardly deed and waves his hand in passing. Kudzwi decides they need to start getting the battle going and plays a Mountain, followed up by a Dragon Tempest. Gage reads the card several times while Kudzwi passes. Gage draws for turn, having to be reminded by Gary twice. He plays up Plains. Oath of Lieges then enters to the delight of our resident Stashy fellow. Gage confidently guffaws and ships the turn to Gary. He then reads Dragon Tempest again. Gary takes the Oath trigger, grabbing a basic. I'm gonna say that a lot this duel, I can feel it. He draws for turn and then plays a forest and a Doubling Cube. Things are about to get hairy. Snickering intensifies as Horatio is up. He grabs a forest with the Oath trigger, draws for turn, plays a Mountain, and then casts New Frontiers, where X is 3. Everyone grabs 3 basics from their deck and puts them into play. Greg takes a lot longer than the rest of the wizards. Distracted by helping Greg find his basics, Kudzwi misses the Oath trigger and draws for turn. He plays a land for turn and then a Thran Dynamo. Nothing else to do, they pass. Greg grabs a Swampy with his Oath trigger, taunting Kudzwi for forgetting. He draws for turn and I'm getting tired of saying the stuff about the Oath trigger already. He plays a Mardu Banner, then summons the Juggernaut himself, Zurgo Helm Smasher. Obviously the only target to hit is... and he went for Gary, okay. Rapol takes 7 commander damage. Marveling at his phenomenal play, he passes while the rest of the wizards look confused. Angry at Greg, Gary grabs a forest from his Oath trigger. Shocking. He makes 10 mana using Doubling Cube and casts Beast Whisperer, followed by his commander, Multani. He draws from the Whisperer trigger and plays a forest. Oath grabs a forest for Horatio, and I beg for someone to destroy it already so I can stop saying this. He draws, plays a Mountain, and then starts the party by playing his commander. Bring on the dance music cause it's party time. Kudzwi grabs a Mountain with Oath, then draws for turn. They play a Haven of the Spirit Dragon as their land for turn. 5 mana gets them a Kindred Discovery, naming dragons. They then cast a Dragon Broodmother. While it's on the stack, however, Gary exiles a card to cast my favorite spell, Force of Vigor. He destroys Dragon Tempest and the newly played Kindred Discovery. Dragon Broodmother then resolves, and Kudzwi is sad at the loss of the massive card advantage engine. They pass the turn to Greg, who is taking credit for that play. Oath gets a plane for Meningitis. Kudzwi gets a 1/1. Greg draws for turn. He puts Eldrazi Conscription on Zurgo. Everyone but Horatio turns pale. Instead of finishing off Gary, he turns his attention to Kudzwi, throwing Zurgo and the duo. They sacrifice 2 lands to the Annihilator trigger, then double block but still take 12 commander damage. So caught up in his extraordinary play, Greg forgets to put 2 counters on Zurgo from destroying 2 creatures. He passes. Forest from Oath as the saying goeth. Goeth, I don't care. Gary plays a Zendikar Resurgent. Horatio pauses in his stash twirling, surprised by the play. Joining the bully train, Gary halves Kudzwi's remaining health by attacking them with the 14/14 Multani. While Kudzwi cries in a corner, Gary passes. The Doombringer brings the doom by fetching a Mountain from the Oath trigger. Again, he plays Naheb the Eternal on his main phase. Snickering evilly, he activates Kessig Wolfrun for 0, giving Naheb trample. He then moves to combat, making Neheb an 8-10 with Xenagos. Snickering drowns out Gary's screams as Horatio attacks him. With the floating mana generated by Gary's life essence, the mustachioed man himself casts an Elder Scale Worm. Satisfied with his evil doing, he challenges Cudswee to do more evil. Cudswee gets an island from Oath. They cast a Niv Mizzet Perrin. Not being able to do much else, they pass. Nobody has destroyed Oath yet, so I must say it again. Greg grabs a mountain from it. He then puts Gift of Orzhova on Zurgo, giving it wings. He casts and equips a Fire Shrieker. He can then defeat any player at this one time, so he decides to finish off Gary, dealing 36 commander damage and gaining 36 life. Horatio pauses, twirling his stash to laugh hysterically at the defeat of Gary Rapol. Cudswee nervously prays for a removal spell. Horatio, his nefarious plan finally coming to fruition, decides to not take the Oath trigger. He plays a Forest for a turn, then a Hellkite Charger. He activates Kessig Wolfrun to give Elder Scale Worm +1/0 in Trample, double Trample. He moves to combat, giving Elder Scale +8/+8 and Haste. He swings everything at Greg, dealing 31 damage. With the mana floating from Neheb's ability, he casts Scour from Existence, targeting Niv Mizzet. Cudswee draws a card and sends a damage into Horatio's face. Doesn't really do much, because next, Horatio seals the deal and brings the doom by casting a Final Fortune. He takes an extra turn and has enough damage on board to be able to finish off both players and win the game.
And lo, the valiant Krumstash was victorious, laying waste to the armies that stood before him. The Vortex favored him by granting him an easily fooled foe in Greg, who unknowingly aided the Doombringer with his Oath of Legions. May they clash again in the future, next time on Wizards of the Vortex.